Hello friends, my name is BK Kollapure. Today we will continue with some more problems on columns by using Euler's formula and Rankine's formula. Suppose let us take a T section of a beam, column. Let the length of the column, if I take it as 6 meters actual length, and the end condition is hinged, and here also it is hinged. So when both the ends are hinged, that is the first condition in which L will be equal to L, effective length will be equal to L, and you are required to find out the crippling load. Young's modulus is given to you for Euler's formula. For Rankine's formula, Rankine's constant will be given to you and the compressive stress will be given to you. So here you are required to find out the ratio of Euler's crippling load and Rankine's crippling load. So E PE by PR. E stands for Euler's, R stands for Rankine. That means you have to find out the load by using Euler's method. You will have to find out the load by Rankine's method and find out their ratio. So let me draw the figure clearly here. So this is a problem. T section is given to you. Both the ends are hinged. Effective span is equal to L. If I show the cross section of the T beam here, draw more depth so that you can show clearly the distances of the centroid of the T section. Now if you see to the dimension, this distance is 120 mm. Thickness of the flange, if I take it as 20 mm. This thickness of the web, if I take it as 20 mm. And let me take the depth of the web. Depth of the web, if I take it as 180. So the total height will be 180 plus 20 will be 200 mm is the total height. Now this is an T section. It is unsymmetrical about x axis, but it is symmetrical about y axis. So here you will have to find out the distance of the centroid of the T section either from bottom or from the top. So first we will go for finding out the moment of inertia. So the data what is given to you in the problem is length of the column is 6 meters. Condition is both ends hinged. That means L will be equal to small l. Young's modulus is given to you in the problem as 2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per mm square. Alpha is given to you as 1 by 7500 and sigma c, the compressive stress, is given as 330 MPa. This will be nothing but 330 Newton per mm square. MPa is Newton per mm square. So with this data, we will go for solving the problem. So first we will go for I. To locate I should know the centroid of the given figure. So we will consider a reference axis here, 1, 1. That means we are locating the centroid from the bottom. So let us divide it into two components. This will be G1 and this will be G2. So here let us first find out y bar is equal to sigma A y by sigma A. So this will be equal to, I will go with G1, this is 20 by 180. 20 by 180. This is area, and we know the centroid of the rectangle is at the center. Total height is 180. Half of that will be 90. So this will be A of 1 plus. We will go to this area 120 by 20. This is the area 120 by 20, and we know the distance of the centroid of rectangle is at the center. So this distance is 10. But I want the distance from 1, 1. So what will be this distance? From here to here it is 180 plus this will be 10 mm. So 180 plus 10 will be 190. divided by area. We know the area is 20 into 180 plus 120 into 20. So if you calculate for y bar, you get the distance of the centroid from the bottom as 130 mm. 130 mm. So here the centroid will be somewhere. So this is the centroid of the given figure, and this height from the bottom is 130 mm. So this distance from the top will be total is 200. 200 minus 130 will be 70 mm. So this is the first step what we have done. To find out I, what we need is the distance of the centroid of the component from the x-axis axis or neutral axis or centroidal axis, whatever you call, you will call it as neutral axis. You need this distance. So how to calculate this distance? You know this height is 130. This is center. So total height is 180, half of that will be 90. So this height is 90, whereas this height is 130. So 130 minus 90, so this will be equal to 40 mm. Similarly, we want distance of the centroid of the second component from again the neutral axis. Now if you see here, this height from top is 70. This is 20, so this will be 10 and 10. So the distance of this centroid will be 70 minus 10, so this will be equal to 60. So these two things are important for you to determine. Distance of the centroid of the component from the neutral axis. Now once you know this, you can find out the moment of inertia Ixx. If I take it as xx, Ixx will be, see, the centroid of the figure and centroid of the component are not coinciding. So in that case, we are using moment of inertia about any reference axis is equal to moment of inertia about its own axis plus Ay bar square. According to parallel axis theorem, we will apply this for Ixx. So this will be equal to, I will begin with G1. G1 is a rectangle. Moment of inertia of rectangle is B dq by 12. 20 into this height is 180. So 20 into 180 cube divided by 12 plus Ay bar square. So what is this area? 20 by 180. 20 by 180. Area y bar square. Y is the distance of the component from the neutral axis, and this distance is 40. So into 40, don't forget to square. This is for G1 plus we will go for G2 also on the same lines. So this will be equal to, if I go to GT, rectangle B d cube by 12. So 120 into 20 cube divided by 12 plus area is 120 by 20 area. Now distance of the centroid from the neutral axis. So this distance we have calculated as 60. So this will be 60 square. So this will be for G2. If you simplify for this, you get the value of Ixx is equal to 24.2 into 10 to the power of 6 mm raised to 4. Likewise, we will go moment of inertia about y. You see the y axis and the centroid of both the components, they are coinciding. You can directly use the formula B d cube by 12. So d is the distance perpendicular to the axis. This is your axis. So this is the perpendicular distance for this component. This is the perpendicular distance for this component. So if I go with Iyy, so B will be here 180 and D is here 20 cube divided by 12. This is for G1. See, the things are reverse here. 20 180 cube, 180 20 cube plus moment of inertia of this B is 20 and D is 120. So this will be 20 into 120 cube, 120 cube divided by 12. This is for G2. So here it changes. 120 into 20, this will be reversed into 20 into 120 cubed by 12. If you simplify this, you get the value of I by y as 3 into 10 to the power of 6 mm4. So this is Ixx and this is I by y. We know we are going to take the lesser value. So the lesser value of the 2 will be I minimum. I minimum is here Iyy, means bending of the column will take in y direction. So this is equal to 3 into 10 to the power of 6 mm raised to 4. Now once I know I, we can go for Euler's formula. So if I go with Euler's formula, PCR, that is a crippling load or bending load or buckling load, is given by pi squared EI by L squared. So this will be equal to pi squared into E is given to you as 2 into 10 to the power of 5 into I we have calculated is the minimum moment of inertia, 3 into 10 to the power of 6 divided by L. This is both the ends are hinged. The end effective length will be equal to the actual length of the column. Actual length of the column is 6000 square. So if you simplify this, you get Euler's crippling load as 52.36 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton. So if I convert it into kilonewton, it will be 52.36 kilonewton. So this is a load what you get from Euler's formula. Now we'll go for Rankine's formula. To Rankine's load or Rankine's formula. Rankine's formula is given by P is equal to sigma C into A divided by 1 plus alpha into L by K whole square. In this, you know this value, you know alpha, you know L, you will have to find out A and K. What is the cross section area of the column? One is 120 by 20 and another is this flange 180 by 20 plus 180 by 20. If you simplify this, you get the area of the section as 6000 mm square. 6000 mm square. Let's go for the radius of gyration. This is given by under root I minimum divided by A. So we have calculated I minimum is 3 into 10 to the power of 6 divided by A is 6000. If you simplify this, you get 22.36 mm. So using these values, let us substitute in P is equal to sigma C is given to you as 330 Newton per mm square into cross section area we have got is 6000 divided by 1 plus alpha is given to you as 1 by 7500 into L is the effective length which is equal to 6000 mm divided by K. The value of K is 22.36 square of this. If you simplify this, you get the value as 1.98 into 10 to the power of 6 divided by, if you simplify this whole thing, you get the denominator as 10.6. So the value of P according to Rankine's formula is 52.36. 186.79 into 10 to the power of 3 Newton. So this will be equal to 186.79 kilonewton. Now in the problem, you have been asked to find out the ratio. One more step. Otherwise you can find out P for Euler, P for Rankine and stop here. Let us go with the condition what is given in the problem. Find out the ratio of Rankine's formula if I write PR as Rankine and PE as Euler, so this will be equal to, we have got according to Rankine 186.79 and according to Euler's it is 52.36. If you simplify this, you get the value of PCR by P 186.79 divided by 52.36. So the ratio here is 186.79 divided by 52.36. So this will be equal to 3.567. So this is the ratio of Rankine's formula, Euler's formula. So like this, here we have found out the ratio of the crippling load. So we'll stop here today. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos. Press the bell icon for notifications. Comment in the question section for more questions. Thank you.